Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Call It Anything podcast. Unless anything happens in the foreseeable future, this will be the last one of the year. I am Jack, joined by my guest,
Mr. Solis.
and we are here today for what everyone looks forward to at the end of the year.
A top 10 list.
But before we get into that, sir, how have you been?
I've been fine. 2 days away from wrapping up the semester. My first back since 2019. And I get 3 weeks off, Jack. A solid three, mostly uninterrupted weeks. Where last year I would have had to work, in the few days after we dismiss and for a few days before we come back, getting ready for all the teachers and students. This year I am a teacher. So I'm super looking forward to that.
And this year, like years before, I am no longer a student, so I don't get no breaks.
Welcome to the penitentiary, to the USO penitentiary, Jack.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm glad to hear you've been doing well. I always remember the school year coming to an end. Um, I've been doing all right, just been working as usual. I'm getting my year-end videos ready for the music and wrestling side. The wrestling side, it's gonna be a short, maybe a bit sad one, because as you're gonna see with this list, I really struggled. And if I struggle to come up with top 10, you can imagine how I'm struggling to come up with a whole year-end video about wrestling when I wasn't watching a whole lot.
Speak your truth, Jack.
Yeah,
Bleacher Report gave John Cena's retirement tour an F.
I'm right there with him. I was talking about it. We went to go pick up Marco because right
Yeah.
now my dad's car's in the shop, so we dropped him off for work in the morning and we went to go pick him up. And on the way, we were talking about that because I forgot how it got brought up, but I was telling my dad, I was like, so let me tell this story for the podcast, to give us more time, to give the audience more content before the top 10. My dad was asking me a bunch of questions, and one of them was like, oh, you have to put on an 8-act concert, but each act has to be of a different genre. You have to have
Okay.
an opener, a closer, and then 6 in between. I
Okay.
have to be of different genres. So I was setting it up, and I was setting up, and it was funny because I didn't even think about this until I went for my penultimate act. I was like, let's make it a rap artist, because in my head the entire time I was like, a rock artist is gonna be closing, and it's obviously gonna be like one of my favorite rock artists, like Linkin Park or something like that. But as I'm looking through the rap artists to figure out who do I want to segue in, I see I
Yeah.
have some of John Cena's songs from his album back then. And so I came up with a joke. I finally picked my rap artist, and I tell my dad, I'm like, you can already guess. You already know what we're going for the headliner. We're going with the GOAT. We're honoring the GOAT and his final run. And I hit play on Right Now by John Cena and the trademark. And he starts playing. My dad's like, is that De La Soul? Is that like, he's trying to figure out. And I'm like, listen for the voice. And he's listening, and he listened to him more closely. He's like, is that John Cena? I'm like, we're honoring the GOAT. And then we were telling Marco about it. And then that's when I was telling my dad, because I was saying, how a lot of people wanted that song to play because it's a very like nostalgic song. But I was like, I thought when John Cena finally retired, I told myself I was gonna like be so emotional and like maybe even close to tears, because like this man's been there from the start of my wrestling fandom. He's like that one constant. And yet at the end of his retirement tour, I didn't even watch it because I was at work. But even
Yeah.
when I got back, I didn't watch too much of it except like the ending. I was like, I felt so apathetic to it all because I just didn't care. Like one of the biggest stars just retired, one of the biggest stars of my childhood. And I couldn't care less because of what WWE did for his final run.
I was so frustrated or underwhelmed by the finish of that match, which was like good in the middle. You know what I mean? Like in the middle, I was like, oh, this, because we're building our top 10 match list, Jack. Like, I'm like, could this be on? The beginning? No. In the middle? Maybe. Towards the end? Yes. Except for the tap out, right? And kudos to Instagram with all the like mental gymnastics that they do, Jack, it's like they're making it make sense for themselves and us. Have you ever seen this Dragon Ball Z scene where Goku's up against Cell and instead of like Super Saiyans, he just sort of stops and smiles and everyone goes, "What is he doing?" You seen that?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that one.
I saw in the comment, top rated comment goes, "This is the best way to see this." As what was happening. Literally, Goku's just looking back at his family and smiling, and you're like, "What's he doing?" And then Bully Ray on his podcast again with that 1-2 punch goes, "Hey, remember what happened when Obi-Wan was fighting Darth Vader and the Death Star? What'd he do, Jack? What'd he do when he saw Luke watching him?" Smile before he took that final blow.
I got
I'm
another one
like,
for you.
dang.
What did
Yeah.
Professor X do in Days of Future Past when the Skrulls finally cornered them? He put a hand up instead of using his Omega level mutant powers. He just simply puts a hand up to block the light.
But all that to say, Jack, the match ended in such a wet fart that I was like, well, at least I don't feel emotional either. Hey, one of my teachers at school, he's a young guy, maybe around your age. He asked, he's like, "Were you a Cena fan?" And I go, "Oh no, sir. I was definitely part of the half of the stadium chanting that he sucked." Like, I was there. I was there in person, telling him how I feel. And I'll never forget what he said, Jack, when the arenas were split across the country. Let's go and get this, Jack. On Saturday, they weren't split. They were just doing the "Let's Go Cena" half. There was a blank pause during the "Cena Suck" half. Never in 20 years had he ever heard that kind of unanimous support. But so anyway, I remember this interview asked how he felt about people saying "Let's Go Cena," and then a very loud vocal half of the crowd chanting "Cena sucks." And you remember what he said?
Hmm.
He said, "It don't matter what they say. Both halves are saying my name." He goes, "If anyone should be upset, it should be the guy I'm fighting because they're not saying his name at all." And I was like, he's got us. He's rage baiting us before even that was a phrase.
But yeah, it's like, when the Undertaker initially was looking to retire in 2017, when he did that whole thing at WrestleMania 33 with Roman, it was like
Yeah.
that was an emotional moment. Sting, even though he was going out on top and everyone oh, he's older, he's retiring, it's like that even felt a lot more emotional still. It's like, but I was like, man, I thought I would have cared so much about Cena retiring, and that I was just like at least when Brian did his retirement into part time, he still hasn't come back to wrestle, so maybe it is retirement fully, But when he did it, at least there was the post match segment that kind of eliminated all the emotion out of it, because it's like everyone was more so shocked that they were like, "Did we just watch a man get murdered?"
You know,
John Moxley putting the bag over him. It was like that eliminated all the emotional tie to the retirement, but
so if you'll entertain me, Jack, here's how I wish they had done it. Like if I get to hold of John Cena, I'd tell him, "Hey man, this is how I think you should have done it." He's in the sleeper. He's been put in the sleeper like a half a dozen times. And why does he tap this time? Because he looks out at the crowd. He can hear him say, "Don't give up." And maybe with a tear in his eye, like Ric Flair, he taps and grabs the mic and says that it was important to him that he not pass out, that he not wake up in the back or in the hospital. He needed to be conscious and you know what I mean, like in control of his faculties, so he can spend that last moment with them on his own 2 feet. He thought if he doesn't pass out, if he doesn't tap, he risks missing that last moment with the live crowd. Or you can just smile. I don't know. I don't know.
that was my dad's biggest problem, was that the face he made that was just like,
It was Charlotte. He was doing that. "You got me, kid."
oh man, yeah,
I wish when Gunther was like, "I made him give up." I wish the crowd was coordinated enough to yell, "I mean, not really. I mean, not really."
Did you see the meme that Marco sent?
No, not yet.
Oh yeah, someone edited the photo to take the picture from I think it was Peacemaker or Suicide Squad, where they made it look like he left the jorts in the ring too, and so
Oh, that's funny.
he's standing in his underwear. My dad was saying that you could actually hear people in the crowd saying, "Leave the shorts." And then it was funny because then we started talking about other people getting ready to retire, like apparently
Yeah.
like AJ, And I told
Yeah.
my dad, "Oh, apparently Samoa Joe's getting ready to retire too." I was like, "Oh, maybe that's why they gave him the last thing." And my dad's always had an issue with Samoa Joe's shorts because of the way they are and
Yeah.
all that. So I was like, I told my dad, I'm like, "Would you want him to leave the shorts in the ring when he retires?"
Yeah.
And then Marco's like, "Oh, well, because Samoa Joe." He was like, "Could you imagine he leaves those shorts and he's wearing like a Rikishi thong because he's like Samoan."
There's rumor that Brock Lesnar might call it quits when they do SummerSlam in Minneapolis because it's like Minneapolis, Minnesota, right?
Yeah,
It's like Lesnar country. So, could potentially Gunther do the job. I mean, take care of the beast there, right? Like adding to his repertoire. I want it to be true, and I want Lesnar to like grab a hold of him by his sweater and go, "I ain't smiling." You know what I mean? Like, I'm not quitting. Oh no, sir. I'm gonna take you down with me.
Marco was saying that like apparently they want so. Apparently, Gunther might be the one to also retire AJ, is like what the news was saying. But then,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they wanted Braun to face off against Brock and retire him, but because he's having this whole thing with Punk and maybe the title, they might do Gunther instead. And my dad's like, is he just a new legend killer?
He's gonna kill a lot of them. Braun ain't ready for none of that. Braun ain't ready. No, sir. Braun ain't ready for Punk. But yeah, no, I want to see Lesnar versus Gunther because I want Lesnar to like really I want Lesnar to look him in the eye and go, "I'm gonna go into business for my own gosh darn self."
I wanted to see. The only reason I would want that match is just to see how Brock would react to even just like I want to be the fly in the wall when they're producing the match and see
Yeah.
what Brock's reaction is to being told he has to take a chop from Gunther.
You can throw as many chops as you want. This tree ain't gonna fall.
Oh man! But what a sour note for WWE to end the year on. But also an appropriate note.
I'll tell you what, if you say that, but you know what's funny? For all the PLEs that like leave a bad taste in your mouth, Raw is all right. Raw ends up sometimes being a better show on the weekend. And you're like, these matches would be on a PLE if you had them like normal.
Yeah, definitely. But shall we get into it, sir?
We shall. We have our top 10 matches for 2025. And I wonder, Jack, did you happen to set aside any honorable mentions?
I did not.
May I share with you mine?
Yes.
These did not make the top 10, but as I was scrolling through my list, I thought they were worth a mention, an honorable one at that. The first is Gunther when he was world champion versus Akira Tozawa. That was on a Raw in February. When he was being a big bully to the Alpha Academy.
Yeah, yeah.
The Alpha Academy, right? Yeah. And I don't know. It was like he was just being a big bully, slapping the heck out of Akira, right? Like, I think he had already beaten up Otis. I don't know. Just him throwing his weight around. It was a poor use of a champion, but I was really amused. I was like really having a good time about it. The second one is Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ricochet at last year's Wrestle Dream. It was a main event. Ricochet, fresh off of his WWE run, showed up as a surprise to challenge Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and it was a good match. It was like really good. They both blended their styles very well, and you're like, I mean, hey now, Ricochet's got a big bright future ahead of him post New York. And then the last one, Minoru Suzuki versus Butterbean. WrestleCon in April. Dave Meltzer gave it negative. I forgot. I was going to look up how many stars, but like gave it a lot of negative stars. Minoru Suzuki doesn't speak any English. Butterbean doesn't speak Japanese. And I think there was a big lapse in communication. Butterbean, got himself back into shape with the help of DDP. But I mean, he's still old. Minoru is very old. I don't know if either man was committed to losing. So it ends in a no contest. They're both outside the ring, won't get back inside. So the ref calls it. And I think the ref is Dan Severn.
Yeah.
So nobody left happy.
Yeah, so
and I watched it.
Yeah, Dave Meltzer said this was negative 459.7 stars, like the worst match ever. Negative 273.15 if you live outside the U.S. Worse than Sheik and Volkov match on Heroes of Wrestling.
He's a guy. Dave Meltzer is a very divisive guy and, controversial, but I think he got it right here. Not on my list.
Oh, man. I think the only honorable mention I would have to give, but I don't want to give a spoiler for why it gets left off, but that in itself is a spoiler, is Io and Rhea from the beginning of the year on Raw when Io won the title.
Nice.
It was like a big shocker because it was like...
That's what I mean, right, Jack? Like, the PLEs, they're funny. You know what I mean? You're like, was that worth it? And then here comes Raw, shining through. Raw's on my list twice. Raw.
Yeah. So, we started this in 2020.
Wow.
And we did this before, when I was recording with Dom back then, before him and I even did a top 10 like music list or any other top 10s of the year. So you and I started doing this for this podcast before we did any other top 10 lists. This will be the 6th installment, correct? Let me see. 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24. Yep, the 6th one.
Huh.
The 6th installment of the Call It Anything podcast. Top 10 wrestling matches of the year. These ones of 2025. As always, it's a testament to the type of wrestling Mr. Solis enjoys and I enjoy. The differences in our tastes, the similarities in our tastes. And it also is nice to see when him and I end up with a same match and where it ends up placing and what reasonings why there's the difference in placing.
Yep.
You also get to see a nice little generational gap sometimes because there's a very clear difference in mind and rating when it comes to you and I.
I certainly believe and expect nothing less.
All right then, sir. Without further ado, are you ready to get into this?
Ready.
I forget who starts off. I believe it's you, correct?
It's me, because I always insist you have the last word.
All right then, sir. So without further ado, getting right into it, what is your number 10? And if you've been a long-time listener, there's always typically a trend here, so it's always the most interesting one to start us off with.
Here we go, Jack. I really tried. And I didn't have to try very hard. I kept notes this year, and my number 10 comes from Wrestle Dream, way in the very first week of 2025. And it's a special 5-minute grappling exhibition match between Katsuyori Shibata and Hiroshi Tanahashi. At Wrestle Kingdom, Shibata showed up in surprise and challenged Tanahashi for the night after and said, you and me, let's throw down for 5 minutes. And Jack, when I tuned in for the 5-minute match, I didn't turn on the English translation. I was watching Japanese commentary before I'd figured out how to switch it. But Jack, here's what that 5 minutes amounted to. They literally just slapped each other in the chest until the ref told them to stop. It was a no contest. They both were really laying it in, had a moment of respect. This was the beginning of Tanahashi's, retirement tour of his own. And, God, that was such a good 5 minutes. And so, because of the Japanese commentary, I didn't even realize what was happening. I didn't realize there was a time limit. I didn't realize, you know what I mean? That they weren't going to do more than what they were doing. And it was really good.
As always, The number 10 is a great one. For a second I got it confused with I forget what year it was. I want to say it was 2023 or was it 2024? No, it might have been 2024. That one where he showed up at Wrestle Kingdom for an exhibition as well, but then he started going off the script, and the New Japan officials got upset at him because they were like, "That's not what you told us you were gonna do."
Hey, yeah, I think wasn't that was against Ren Narita.
Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, he goes, "Nah, man, we're doing this for real." I mean, kudos to him for let AEW's picking him up and letting him do more. The Japanese Daniel Bryan that everyone's going to be real careful with.
oh man,
He had some great technique, Jack.
yeah, oh my god. But I guess let's get into. Hold on. All right, bit of some technical difficulties, but we're back. Hopefully, there's not too much of a change in audio, but if there is, that's the reason why. But we're finishing up with Mr. Solis's number 10. Now we get into my number 10. My number 10 comes from AEW. And the funny part about it is when I was talking about this match, it was in our last episode. And I said, word for word, I don't think this match is going to end up making my top 10. But then I started looking at my very barren spreadsheet and quickly realized I don't have a lot of choices for my top 10.
That sounds like a setup in one of those sitcoms where it's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put it on my list. And then smash cut to the next thing. I put it on my list. What match is that, Jack?
My number 10 is for the AEW, at the time, Continental Championship, Kazuchika Okada versus Mike Bailey at AEW Double or Nothing.
Ah.
I have a lot of issues with this match, with my main one being, my goodness, does poor Mike Bailey have to carry a good majority of it. But at the same time, that kind of is what makes it good. For the entire match, Mike Bailey is just beating on Okada. This man gets a majority of the offense for a good portion of the match. Despite being champion, like, Okada is getting rocked all throughout the match. And there's just there's a lot of good stuff in this match, like Mike Bailey, it really feels like, I don't know what's the way to put it, but like it's not really like a showcase in a way, because Mike Bailey's been doing all this for quite some time, but like he gets a lot of spotlight in this match. The backflip dive to the outside was amazing. Okada gets his moments of fighting back in between, but like I said, it's pretty much all Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey hits a springboard moonsault to the outside that is so clean and fluid. I don't know how he does it. But then the final minutes happen where Okada just randomly decides to lock in and perform like the Okada of old. And they put on a great final sequence, and the best part is the closing part where, Bailey's trying to go for that ultimate weapon. And as he does the backflip, he's coming back down with his knees down, and Okada hits him with a drop kick midway through, and then follows it up with the Rainmaker to close out the match.
Nice. I remember your analysis of the last time as well.
Yeah, Mike Bailey gets all the shine, and Okada gets all the credit. It's like those group projects where one kid puts in all the effort, but because he's an introvert like me, he passes off the presentation part of it to the extrovert to finish off and get them the final points they need for the presentation itself.
The way you described it, too, it reminded me of that match he had with Kaito Kiyomiya. Remember when he gets kicked in the face and it, switches a switch in him where it's like, nope, we're not getting away with that.
We're going to see that happen with Brock and Gunther next year.
Heck yes.
But now on to number 9, sir. What is your number 9?
My number 9 also comes from the land of AEW, and it's from September All Out. The Tables and Tax match. Mark Briscoe versus MJF. A good match. I thought it was well paced. Told a funny story of just like wanting to get MJF into those tacks. And Briscoe, because MJF's doing that thing where he's running down Jay, R.I.P. Jay. Mark's had it. Mark's had enough of him. So he there's no funny business. He bolts to the ring and immediately starts pouring all the tacks into the ring out of 4 buckets along the entire ring. So much so that I think the ref is wearing special shoes or something on his shoes and wearing gloves. And I think, wearing all the protection so that when he has to make a count, I mean, this mat is littered with tacks. And Mark is taking all of the bumps.
Oh.
But no. But we're building to that moment when MJF finally goes there. And he does. And it's great. And it's one of those matches, Jack. You and I have talked about how much the finish and the winner impacts one's perception of a match. Mark wins a match he's supposed to win. This is on his route to becoming a TNT champion. But, so before we get there, he's going to put down MJF with the Jay Driller on the tacks. It was great.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to remember. He's currently still TNT champion, right? Because he beat Kyle Fletcher, right? Okay.
He did.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I definitely remember watching the highlights of that match and seeing the aftermath. I will say there's probably a ton of matches this year that happened that likely would have ended up on my list if I had actually gotten around to watching them.
Yeah, that one was in contention for number 10, but I thought the emotion behind Mark's win, how much they've done with him since, it actually elevated the match for me. I'm like, no, you ain't no goofy number 10. You're a 9, a solid 9.
Oh, man, yeah. Definitely a good one. My number 9, again, another match I didn't expect to make it. But now I rewatched it because it's a match I've referenced so much in our year since it's happened. And I always reference it. And upon rewatch, I'm like, I actually still enjoy this match even more than the ones that followed. My number 9 is Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch at WWE Backlash. The first encounter that they had. Just like the last match, one person is heavily in control in this one. A lot of the story in this especially influences the way I view it because, you really see Lyra getting the best of Becky all throughout this match. And it makes for the compelling story because, 2025 really was Lyra's breakout year, with the introduction of the Women's Intercontinental title. She was essentially tasked with making people care, because when those 2 women's mid-card titles were introduced, a lot of people were like, okay, why should we care though, And this feud was her first big one as the champion. And it was kind of just simple, Becky's accomplished it all. There's new titles now that, she's looking to add to her legacy. But Becky doesn't look like the veteran in this match because, like I said, she's constantly getting outmatched and out-wrestled by Lyra, from technical ability to the aerial moves that she uses. It's like Lyra's in full control. And I get it, the roll-up finish might feel a bit dusty for a pay-per-view, a lot of people feel like pay-per-view should only really have clean finishes, but I think it adds to it because, again, she gets the best of Becky in yet another way, and it adds fuel to the flames that this feud would continue to build on as they went on throughout the year. Really giving that mid-card title, a big feud in its first year, and really making people, realize, hey, they might actually care about these titles. Not as much as the main titles, but it isn't just going to be some prop we've gotten used to the other men's mid-card titles being. Or even the women's tag titles. It's they're at least investing some time in it.
It's so weird trying to keep track of which titles they care about. Why can't they care about, either all of them all of the time, or just have some structured schedule, some sort of calendar where you decide when you're gonna carry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can have ebbs and flows. New Japan just put on this big old tag tournament they do every year. It's like they're going, hey, in the fall, that's when we're gonna do a bunch of tag stuff. Spring, juniors.
Summer, the main title.
Just saying, tune in. Something for everyone. But that's a great match. Great shout, Jack. Did Becky win that match?
No, she loses on the roll up.
On the roll up. I thought it was the linchpin, but maybe I'm thinking of a different Becky Lyra match or a Becky Bailey.
It might have been. I forget if it was I just remember it was a roll up finish. Like it wasn't like a clean pin. You know, like she gets the best of her.
I've heard Becky say like she's far better like a wrestler. I think it was on Cody's podcast. Like, just admitting, like, she can do so many. She's like, I don't have any moves. I think she was like, I love being a heel. She was like, because I don't have any moves.
Oh, man. But yeah, another one that surprised me, definitely.
Nice.
How about your number 8, sir?
My number 8 comes from July. Game Changer Wrestling. Boss of all bosses. A silly name for a show. But I must have tuned in for something else. I think I tuned in for, like, Shotzi versus Matt Cardona, but I stuck around for KJ Orso versus Sam Stackhouse in an I Quit match that I'll never forget. Do you know who KJ Orso is?
The name sounds familiar. I'm going to take a guess. It's the new name of a released wrestler.
It's a new name for Fuego del Sol, who lost his mask in April. And lost his mind with it because his best friend, Sam Stackhouse, who's like literally 450 or 500 pounds, like he's a big old boy. You know, he's like trying to help his buddy, but his buddy, who took his mask off and realized, oh, I'm a pretty attractive guy underneath here, turned on him. He's like, I don't need you. I never needed you. You were never my friend. That kind of story. Well, I mean, it builds up over months, and in July they have an I Quit match. And it's violent, you know, and it's intense. And again, I'm talking about a guy, Jack, Sam Stackhouse. Dude's a house. Like, but he's doing things, Jack, that you don't expect the man that, like, he's big. But, like, hitting moonsaults, Vader style. And you're like, golly, KJ Orso's being thrown around, right? This is looking like, you know, Stackhouse is going to win because he's physically bigger, more dominant. KJ Orso's trying to bounce around things, right? But, spoiler alert, the match ends with he ties up Stackhouse to the corner. I forget why Stackhouse's wife gets in the ring, but KJ Orso is going to mess her up with a chair. He's got her pinned down, and the crowd's going crazy, and Stackhouse has to yell, I quit, I quit. Oh, it was good, Jack. Oh, what a blankety blank that KJ Orso. I seen them fight again in September in a cage, which was also very good, but that I Quit match had to edge it out. But golly, that was a good couple of matches between those two.
Man, that sounds like a good one. All right. My number 8 comes from Joshi Promotion Marvelous. Do I know anything about Marvelous? No. Have I fallen off a lot of wrestling this year? Yes. But my number 8 comes from this promotion because it sees formerly Sarai from WWE, now Sarai, who's been going on quite the tear since being free from her time in WWE. She's teaming with Takumi Iroha, who is also another veteran in the Joshi world. And they're facing off against two, I believe they're rookies still. I forget them. I know one of them started like late last year, so they were still considered their rookie year. And then I know the other one, if they're not a rookie, they're still very much a young person in the Joshi world. Senka Akatsuki, I believe is how it's pronounced, and Sari Yamaoka. So those two, the thing that makes this match interesting is not just super veterans versus super rookies, because the two of them are looked at as like highly touted prospects in the Joshi world. But because of that, because they're highly touted prospects, the two, even though they're not in the same promotion, they've essentially created a deep rivalry with one another to be the like number one breakout rookie in the Joshi world. And despite, I mean, their promotions have crossed over because I think Marvelous has interacted with Marigold this year. They've had this like big old rivalry, and they've yet to have a one-on-one match, I believe. So when it happens, it's gonna be good. But like they're highly touted. A lot of people look at them and they're like, at such a young age, they have like a lot of intangibles that 10-year vets wish they had. So and they're two completely polar opposites in the sense that like Sari dresses all colorful, definitely wrestles an explosive style, I would say, and Senka's this wears one outfit really, even outside like when they do press conferences. There's a funny clip where she's like wearing a tracksuit, and the two of them start getting into it, and she rips off the tracksuit to reveal she was wearing her wrestling attire under, as if she was ready to fight. So like these two are creating a very, Peter Griffin and the Chicken rivalry where it's on sight anytime they see each other. And yet here they are in a tag match going against two super veterans that have really been ruling the Joshi world because they're like they've created this OP tag team, and like the beginning of the match literally sees the two of them fighting to see who will start the match before, they just start getting beat up. And like that's kind of like this entire match is like them trying to work together, but ultimately like they just can't do it. They hate each other too much. Like they've already formed this deep bond and rivalry with one another. And it's just funny because afterwards there's like a post-match promo, and it's essentially them getting scolded for not being able to work together. It's like the veterans get on them for not being able to work together despite them agreeing to this tag match.
I can't believe it, Jack. For all the criticisms that we levy against WWE and their predictable cliche booking, your top 10 match list has a will they be able to work together tag team match.
Oh man, but yeah, it's been crazy. There's so many clips throughout this year where, like I said, it's like on site between the two of them, and they're like ready to fight. Like I'll see if I can find that clip for you, but it's just funny. They're at like doing a press conference for one of the upcoming shows, and it's like just ready to fight at any given time. So that kind of influences this spot, but like it's still a good tag match nonetheless. But it's more so a testament to that rivalry between two rookies in this business
who are on the same team.
Yeah, forced to be on the same team.
That's good old fashioned storytelling.
How about your number 7, sir?
Number 7, we are sticking around in Japan. This time, though, for the G1 Climax B Block Night 2, the main event. It's Taichi versus Yuya Uemura. I'll tell you what, Jack, I ain't had it with these young guys who think they can run around and start owning the place. I'm rooting for my boy, my man, Taichi, right? Who looks his age. I don't know how old he is, but he is sweating bullets, right? And then night 1, he had to lose to Tanahashi because Tanahashi's on this retirement run. So he gets completely jabroni by Tanahashi. And I'm like, night 2, though, he can get his mojo back. And boy, does he, Jack. That guy comes in like he's Brock Lesnar coming after Gunther at SummerSlam in Minneapolis. He tears apart Uemura and wins a decisive victory, right? Maybe Uemura got some offense in. It's been since July since I've seen the match. But what clinched this for me, Jack, was the quote I typed on my list in my notes. The commentator, I forget which one of them. It's the deeper voiced one, the one that wasn't suspended for taking things too far. The one commentator, Taichi wins. He yells, "It will be the future generation's day, one day at a time. But Taichi is a name that will not be left in the past. At least, not tonight." And I thought, I could have run 100 miles, Jack, after I heard him say that.
Oh, man. I always like when you get
comments. Not have a spectacular tournament, but that night and that match, golly. Nice. Beat the hair back into Uemura's head.
Oh man. Yeah, I didn't catch much of the G1 this year. I wanted to, but I didn't. All
I
right.
caught a lot more of it than I've ever had up until the school year started. It was actually pretty spectacular how it happened.
Oh man. Man, I should have been watching during. I mean, it was during the summer, so like, no one was at my store. I could have been watching it during then, but oh man. All right, my number 7. You remember at the start of this, the prologue to the top 10, I mentioned, you see a lot of differences in Mr. Solis and I's list. Sometimes we show our age. I'm going to show my age here because why did this land on my number 7 other than like the match, me liking the match and me, enjoying it? TikTok edits of this match and this feud heavily influenced my view of this match. My number 7 is Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage at AEW Revolution. This match,
Wow, that was this year.
yeah, started the year. Is it over dramatic? Yes. Is it all over the place? Yes. This match is literally Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay being a bunch of literal theater kids. From the pre-match stare down atop the cage to all the spoken dialogue in between. These two, heated rivalry that's carried over from towards the end of last year into this year. This man, Kyle Fletcher, basically has evolved like a Pokemon from his physique to the way he handles himself. He's a new man, and he's trying to solidify this by attempting to kill his mentor in this steel cage match. Because a lot of times we see cage matches, and they take one of two approaches. Are they going to take the approach of they're locked in a cage and they're trying to escape, or are they going to take the approach of we're locked in a cage and no one's leaving till this is all settled? And they take that settling approach, and because of it, they get great mileage out of using the cage as a weapon. They do, they start off some chain wrestling, some high-flying moves, but they get great mileage out of that cage. Ospreay's the first one to bleed when he gets thrown face first into it, and from there the blood just flows and flows. They constantly are throwing one another into that cage. There's a lot of great reversals. The turnbuckle gets removed, which adds, to more blood flowing like a river. And then, like I said, the theatrics are off the charts because here comes Mark Davis, to add more United Empire drama to it all. The screwdriver makes its way again, tad bit excessive, but it's Don Callis lore right there. But the ending, it's like 2000s teenage angst. You got Kyle Fletcher screaming his heart out, letting his mentor know just how much blood-curdling rage he holds within him towards Ospreay, screaming, I hate you, before Ospreay basically decapitates this man with the hidden blade, closing out a bloody, dramatic match.
Golly, Jack, I wouldn't have in a million years believed that was this year.
I know, it caught me a bit off guard too, but yeah, that was this year at Revolution.
And was that Revolution in Los Angeles? Was that like a couple of miles away from where I am right now?
Yep. Crypto.com arena.
Revolution's going to be in LA again.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I've started getting emails and things.
Man, I wonder what they're going to do for that card.
Goodness.
But yeah, like I said at the beginning, I saw a bunch of TikTok edits of their feud, and this match specifically. And one of them used Mr. Brightside by the Killers, and I was like, this has to end up on the list.
I was about to say, like, TikTok edits, huh? So, like, was it a lot of, like, I'm trying to think of, the sweet dreams are made of these. Or the Rammstein one. These are.
Oh man.
Good shot, sir.
Moving on to number 6, sir. What do you have?
To round out the first half of the list, number 6 comes to us from WWE Raw Netflix. In January, it's Chad Gable, like Chad proper Gable, versus a debuting Penta. They gave him the little like vignettes. I mean, this match had more story than I even gave it credit for in the moment, you know. But like Chad Gable is on this like he's on this downward spiral of losing to luchadors or not having it to beat luchadors, and Penta's here to like continue that effort and that story. But also here, I'm like I think we're all holding our breath, wondering how and WWE was going to present him. And we were all, I think, jaws on the floor when he got all that pyro, the music, and they gave him that long match that went over a couple of different commercial breaks. I mean, he got to showcase, you were talking about the Mike Bailey showcase. This is one where Penta got to shine like crazy. And this is a guy, who was really kind of in and out of, the public eye at AEW. It was like in San Jose, I think. So, that crowd's real big on the luchadors. And he had a really great match. And, I was brought to tears by it. Just like, this is our, look, I don't know what the opposite of a massacre, but look at our boy. Look at him. He's on the big stage. They put Kathy Kelly or somebody in that ring going, how do you feel? And he's like, I feel so good. They let him talk. They let him say other things. They let him do the sentimiento. And, the way the WWE universe really gravitated to him, it all started there. In a huge old way. In true luchador form, he's out on injury now. It took less than a year to do. But, I look back at that match, and I think it just made me feel all the feelings. It was a really good match because he's with Chad Gable. The Destroyer, the sacrifice arm break thing, all the things on WWE you never thought in a million years. Take all your forbidden doors and put them all, wherever you want to put them. WWE knows how to make moments. Golly.
Yeah, I still remember that. I still remember when that happened. So yeah, man, that's it. I definitely remember that still. That's still a match I remember. That's a good shout. My number 6. This is a match that I would book in universe mode on the WWE 2K games. I have Bandito versus Konosuke Takeshita, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. Very much a universe mode match that I would book. These two men are great at pulling off high throttle matches. It's like high speed wrestling and the X Division wrestling of old because it just has everything to it. You have your fast paced, high flying moments. You got your big strikes and heavy kicks. You got your technical wrestling and dramatic tension. You got the mask ripping element of the match, the blood element of the match. I just couldn't help but be in awe the entire time watching this match and the things that these two men do. From the displays of power to the unreal athleticism, both should be the immediate future and not just, the future that we hear about for 5 years until it's their time. It's no, right now more than ever, these two should be on display. And just like we'll see later on with another match, I wish more matches like this would happen. Takeshita takes a loss and it has no effect on his momentum. There's no need for a title change or a time limit draw. Bandito gets a big win, comes out looking strong, and Takeshita literally loses nothing from the loss. I wish more companies would take the risk and book matches like this because they actually help more than they think that they're going to do harm, because Bandito gets a credible defense and looks amazing in victory. And my main point, to close this number 6 entry is, if one loss hurts your big star, then maybe your booking is horrible or you're a coward. Because what's the point of having big stars if they can't face off and put on a great match with one another?
I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Drew McIntyre. That's an awesome shout, Jack, and I think that match is available for free on YouTube. I've seen it, and I think this winter break, I think I'm gonna watch some of the Continental Classic episodes of Dynamite. You know, like just watch them back because I want to see Claudio versus Moxley and a couple of other things I've missed. And I'm gonna add that to the old rotation.
Yeah, I remember. I think the only reason I got to watch this match, it was either this one or the one against Hechicero, was because they had issues with like Honor Club and like they were having issues streaming, so they were like, just throw the whole pay-per-view on YouTube for them to watch.
Wow.
It was either this one or the Hechicero one. I forget which one though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one was a great one.
Nice.
But now, that's one half done, and on to the next, sir.
Top 5. Number 5 for old Mr. Solis. We're staying on Raw. It's the summer. It's July. And it's Io Sky. World champion versus Stephanie McCure 2. They fought 3 times this year, Jack. The first time was the Monday after WrestleMania. It was a surprise to everyone, but it ends in a schmoz because they get jumped by Julia and Roxanne. Number 3, that's the big one in September, where Stephanie beats Io for the title at WrestlePalooza. The best thing on that card. But I knew when I was watching Palooza that my list was going to include their second outing when they thought, we got to run it back. We got to know who's better. Because I just like that match so much more. I think in September it was too written in the stars that Stephanie was going to win. The Monday after WrestleMania and the July match on Raw, there was still ambiguity. It was still unclear who would win. You think Io could win? She's the defending champ. You think Stephanie might win? She's the new one, right? Like, there was a lot more variability and suspense, I think. By the time we saw them at WrestlePalooza, we've seen them do the things that they do, but in July, it was still new and exciting. And you know what I mean? Like, so all that to say, it also, like, and here's how well I took this. Here's how much this match meant to me. Even though it also ended in a disqualification, somebody ran in. I remember when they ran in and ended the match. I was like, I don't care. That was one of the best matches I've seen all year. Like, this is gonna beat matches in my list, and they didn't even finish it.
I think that's kind of a good indication of the quality that the TV shows have been having. At least Raw, since they moved to Netflix. There's been some stinkers, obviously, but like they throw on some good matches, even with the commercial breaks and all that. Like I mentioned, Io and Rhea from the start of the year was gonna end up on mine. And TV matches aren't necessarily bad, because if you go back to 2022, I had a ton of AEW TV matches on there because they were going crazy that year on TV. They were giving you some crazy matchups, title matches especially, just on free TV for you to watch. And if you sailed the 7 seas like I did, you were able to find streams where there weren't any commercials and you got to watch the full match.
The 7 C's.
Oh man, but yeah, that sounds like a good one. I still remember watching the WrestlePalooza one and hoping for more, but there was something like weird about that match where it just felt like the pacing, the amount of time they got, and then like you said, kind of it being like the outcome written in the stars that like who the victor was going to be.
Yeah. Whereas in contrast, the one in July left me only wanting to finish. I was like, that was great. Like that was incredible. Like, ooh, you got me, but still, that was like 4 courses of a 5-course meal. I'm content.
Yeah, sounds like a great one.
Number 5. Whoosh.
My number 5 comes from the land of Stardom, because I don't think I'll ever go a year without Stardom being on my list at least once ever since I started watching Stardom. Although that makes me want to go through my list each year just to see, but I'm pretty sure at least one Stardom match has made it every year since I discovered Stardom. It comes from the All-Star Grand Queendom event, and it is Starlight Kid defending the white belt against Azumi. And I don't want this list to be a bunch of negativity because everyone knows me. I try not to, well, this podcast is the one exception. This podcast is where I get to be negative and voice a lot of my criticisms, because everywhere else I'm like, just be positive and talk only about the good, but when you're covering WWE, you're kind of forced to be negative at times with the stuff they throw at you.
I feel like Emperor Palpatine. Yes. He flows through you.
But so, I don't want to be negative, but I just hate that this is a match I was looking forward to happening for the longest time, and it happens at my lowest interest. But it's also kind of an indication of the fatigue this business has on its fans. Because, to give the context, Starlight Kid and Azumi, since I started watching Stardom, two of my favorites. Their match in 2021 was my number one match that year. And this year, one of them finally got elevated to one of the top belt scenes and won it in Starlight Kid. She won it. And now she gets to defend it against her eternal foe, Azumi, even though they're, teaming together now and part of a faction together. But it's that was always something that, when the two of them were still very young and, still very much, the future of the business of Stardom and not, the now. It was always, when they were fighting for, I guess you would say, Stardom's equivalent of the junior division, and they were fighting for its main title, going back and forth with one another. It was always, I can't wait till they get elevated to essentially their world title scene and all that. And it's it finally happens, but it comes all these years later. And like I said, my interest in all wrestling promotions is going downward. So it's I kind of hate that I'm not at full interest and peak interest, but at the same time, it didn't stop me from enjoying it, obviously, since it gets here to its number 5 spot. And, it's just like their matches of before, where the two of them really showcase just how much they've become jack of all trades, because they carry their high-speed styles to this main event scene, but add all the drama and wonder that comes in addition to elevating yourself to a main title scene. The two of them, despite being, of small stature, know how to make their strikes and kicks look like a gunshot, especially their drop kicks. And overall, I'm just proud of how far the two of them have come, and just hope that they get more opportunities, because, like I said, from technical ability to submission and limb work to aerial movesets to everything, it's to me, there aren't two better that also have more years ahead of them than behind them. They are still very much super young and can easily be atop the Stardom, main event scene. It's just a matter of Stardom actually getting them to there. Because it's only just now that one of them is getting more shine in that scene. And the other is also slowly getting inched over there, but it's a very slow process.
Is Azumi the slow process?
Yeah. Because
you bringing up both names. There's an Instagram post I was looking for and found that I'm going to send you. Somebody made I don't know whose top 15 female wrestlers of the year it is, but both of them are there, and it has their rank. Whoever's rank this is, how many of the top matches this person's considering they're in, and it's pretty funny how many of them, their best match of the year was with Sareet. Yeah. So, they kind of go, this is their rank, this is how many top rank matches they've had, and their highest rank is, 9.5 with Sareet.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I'll send it to you.
All right, but, yeah, that's my number 5. Number 4 now, sir. What is your number 4?
Jack, we're 60% through both of our lists, and I have not heard any overlap. I've not heard any repeat matches between the two of us. And I wonder if this is where it might start. I wonder if this match is on your list. My number 4 comes to us from Los Angeles, California. AEW Revolution. It's Toni Storm versus Mariah May.
In the exact same spot.
Wow.
I also have Tony Storm versus Mariah May at my number 4.
What was the match called? I feel like it had a name.
The final ending or something like that.
Final ending.
Yeah. Do you want to know what my intro for the match was?
What was it gonna be?
If I had a nickel for every overdramatic, melodramatic, blood-soaked, chaotic car crash of a match/rivalry that happened at AEW Revolution 2025, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice in one night.
Oh man. You know, I was surprised to see this match on my list. I was like, that's right, that was this year. And, you know, we're not going to think about where Mariah May is or, you know, whose fault it is. Like, is it Shawn Michaels? Is it WWE using AI book? Is it Mariah May, right? All I need to know is that she played her role super duper well. Toni Storm played her role even better as the fallen star with amnesia who didn't have amnesia, who played her role to perfection and did the Mankind Cactus Jack reveal. And I wish, Jack, they were in a different arena than they were in. I wish they were in like the loudest, busiest, most crowded arena for that pop, for that reveal, because it deserved so much more. But the match, the glass on the fists, the table. Yeah, this is top 4, easily greatest match in AEW. No, there's another.
Yeah, I said the same things. You know, this rivalry was all over the place, likely due to Mariah choosing WWE over AEW, but we focused on what happened then. 13 minutes. This big blow-off match gets 13 minutes, and it's 13 glorious blood-soaked minutes as these two women just kill each other without a moment to breathe. Like, the match doesn't even start in the ring. They start fighting on the stage. You get a big old spine buster off the stage through 2 tables. You get a pile driver on the steps, which makes Tony start bleeding. You get the taped up hands covered in glass, which is, you know, insanity not seen in women's wrestling often. Like, this is Swerve Hangman levels of hate here, and they find a way to outdo Willow and Chris from last year's All Out. Like, this is wrestling to its very roots, like I said. Melodramatic theater, blood, violence, it's all glorious.
I'm so excited where we both put this on our lists.
Yeah, I can't believe we both put it in the exact same spot. I don't think that's ever happened before. Like, we've had overlap, but it's always been, like, in different places.
Yeah, you saw a match higher ranked. Yeah. Or I did, yeah.
That's a moment in history for this podcast right there.
So shall I go into my number 3?
Let's do it.
Did you have any more to say about number 4?
No, that was all my notes. But yeah, my intro for it was probably the best part because as I was putting on the list and I was thinking about it, I was like, these both happened at Revolution on the same night.
And like, I just realized, like, you know, my number 3 definitely keeps the trend going of this one's for the sickos. I highly expect this to be on your list. I don't know if it'd be here at number 3. But my number 3 is Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley at AEW All In.
That doesn't make my list.
It doesn't.
It
How
doesn't.
can it not? Jack, it's the Cowboys' redemption are coming to a close.
I know.
It's the cowboy. It's the main character coming to dethrone Jon Moxley and them rascal Death Riders in his match, in his state. I don't know where he's from.
No, he's from Virginia.
Well, he's in a land full of cowboys, and they pull out all the stops, Jack. And here comes this. What did he have? Oh, he just biting him. But like, what was? Oh, the fork. Oh, the fork, Jack. The fork.
I think the issue is I wasn't updating my spreadsheet this year, and I wasn't looking back enough. That should have been on my list, if I'm being
And
honest.
Jack, the run-ins, the Young Bucks, Darby Allin descending from Mount Everest, Brian Danielson in the Blue Panther mask, and Jack, How jack-coded is this match? That Hangman's arch nemesis, his Peter Griffin's chicken, Swerve comes down for the fate of AEW to put his hate aside and do what's right and help his arch nemesis win. How jack-coded can you get? He wins by hanging Jon Moxley. And you think, oh, hate that he slipped and he's now sitting on the ring apron because it's better when he's actually hanging. But no, Jack, even with his butt firmly on the hardest part of the ring, he knows as much as any of us knows it's not letting up, that he can't breathe, that he's got to tap. And this is the beginning, Jack, of a story that's taken far too long to tell. But tapping out to Kyle O'Reilly, to different people, and really losing his luster, and them Death Riders are becoming a bit disillusioned with his leadership, I think. And I wish I'd seen that Claudio match at the Continental Classic.
Yeah, I might have to rearrange my list post all this, because you know, that's always the issue with All In, is so much happens at it that I always forget about it come year's end, because I'm like, it's always so much to take in during the year because it's AEW's big event.
It's it's been a long time and a lot's happened since, and I only remember it because I checked my my notes. But I was like, for sure, Jack's gonna call out his boy, his homie, his ride or die Hangman.
Yeah, we could.
He put it.
We could.
Wait, top favorite. Your top favorite's Bryan Danielson. That's right. He's not even your number one.
Yeah, the fans might not like it, but we can bump a match off my list. Move Ospreay and Fletcher back. Move Bandito to catch the back, and we could probably slot this one in at 6 or 5 for me.
That's gracious.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I barely kept a spreadsheet this year, so I just totally forgot. That's on me. So I would say maybe take my number 8 off of here, bump Ospreay down, bump Bandito to catch the down. Right there at number 6, we can put Hangman and Moxley right there. Texas Death.
Jack, when I saw Swerve run down to the ring and make eye contact, and what did he throw him? He handed him
the chain.
What did he hand Hangman? Chain. When he handed him the chain, Jack, I expected across the screen the text written by Joseph Castillo to show up like a credit on the end of a show.
And I'll never. I don't know how I forgot, because during that time on wrestling Twitter, Swerve became the biggest meme just because of that Charlotte-esque post-match where he's standing on the thing with his arms crossed, smiling, looking at the ring. People just memed the hell out of it because they were like, Swerve probably meant for that to look a lot better, but he just looks foolish. Oh, man.
That was my number 3. What do you got, Jack? What do you think was better than Hangman and Swerve?
Well, my number 3 is something that the sickos have been waiting years for. The sickos have been waiting all these years for the G in IWGP to stand for Hiroki Goto.
Wow.
Now more than ever, Hiroki Goto has the crowd support of a lifetime, from drawing crowds for New Japan, getting big reactions, at least at the start of the year before he went off because of injury, and then also because he got a role in the Street Fighter movie. But that first half of the year, this man was untouchable and the center of attention for New Japan. But, that isn't anything new to previous years, New Japan isn't actually going to let Goto win the big one, are they? They never do that. Well, here we go. Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr., New Japan, New Beginning. Just the first portions of the match, what you'd expect from these two. Hard-hitting strikes. Zack being, the technical submission master that he is. But it's almost like he knew he wasn't going to be the face of this match. And so he truly starts dissecting Goto to get that crowd support, build that support as this match goes on. And it works because every Goto reversal feels so important, with the crowd bursting to cheer for their hero. The chants just get louder and louder. The crowd wants nothing more than to see what they've waited years for. And they almost lose it when Zack rolls up Goto for a very close 2-fall. Every reversal is met with gasps, and every Goto move is met with an eruption. And it pays off with the crowd exploding when Hiroki Goto finally wins the IWGP Championship. You literally see people jump out of their seats in joy when that final hand comes down for the 3 count. Like I love if you go frame by frame as that hand's coming down for the 3. You see people sitting in the crowd, some people even with straight faces, and it's like they're used to it. They know like, oh, New Japan's not gonna do it. And as soon as that hand comes down for the 3, you see expressions change. You see people literally jumping out their seat with joy. It makes the final 5 minutes of this match so addicting to watch because that crowd reaction is what this business lives for. And it's a reaction that makes you wonder, why did it take so long? But also that because it took so long, it's that great of a reaction. The wandering warrior of New Japan finally finds his home atop the mountain of wrestling. My number 3.
Bars, Jack. Bars. You know what? The only thing that has stronger bars is Goto's entrance music. It's my favorite of them all. And every time he came out, I'm like, this man is capable of so much more. A match, Jack, you recommended to me that I don't think I've sat down to see. I saw the rematch that paled in comparison. But look at our guy, Jack. You know where he is now? He's gonna play E Honda in the new Street Fighter movie. WWE and New Japan in the same project. Goodness gracious.
I'll never forget over the summer when that first got announced and you and I were like, that just has to be like a rumor someone's making up, right? Like, what do the Street Fighter people know about Hiroki Goto? And now here he is playing E Honda.
Goodness gracious. It should be him at the Wrestle Kingdom championship match.
I know. As much as I love Takeshita, that should be Hiroki Goto in the dome.
Goto, I don't care about Yoda Tsuji with his stupid smile.
I would give everything for Goto championship entrance in the dome.
Goodness gracious. Maybe they'll cook something up for Wrestle Dream.
Well, we're down to our last 2, sir.
Well, you know, we got our number 4 locked in and aligned. Hangman, we added to your list. He showed up. It was a run-in, Jack.
It was a run-in. When I do my year-end video for the other channel, I'm making sure I slide in Hangman and Moxley there.
Literally slide into the ring, chain in hand. My number 2, tell me, is this on your list? It comes to us from WrestleMania 42, Night 2. It's Rhea Bloody Ripley versus Bianca Bloody Belair versus Io Bloody Sky in a triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship in Las Vegas, Nevada.
If I had a nickel for every time you and I had the same match on the same list, on the same number, in the past 6 years we've been doing this, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot. But how does it happen in the same year?
Woo! We did it! Yes!
I literally mentioned for number 4. Yeah, this is probably the first time in history that you and I have had the same match at the same position. And now it happens twice in the same year. My number 2 is Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair at WrestleMania Night 2.
Woo! This is incredible. This is better than the match itself. And you know, I think I've heard people, I've seen it posted online that triple threat at SummerSlam with Naomi, I don't know, people liked more. Nah, I like this one more. It was like, and it was the first match of night 2 after a real lackluster night 1. The ladies came out, showed up, and were like immediately better than anything that was on night 1. And the matches. I mean, the moves just one after another after another. It was like you and we've seen a lot of triple threat matches, and this was not one of those matches where somebody goes outside and takes a nap while the other two, have a match. No. It was somebody does a move. Somebody does a move on the person who just did the move. Somebody does a move on the person that's still standing. And I think somebody. What happened to Bianca? Does Bianca get injured here?
She might have. She might have been injured here. I forget. I forget when it was.
Yeah, but I mean, we're jumping all over. There's cross bodies. There's moonsaults. There's all the things, and gotta love a strong defending champion. Io sneaks out with the victory, creating all the bad blood and tension that would last for a few more weeks between Rhea and Bianca and who deserves the next match and blah blah blah. I mean, what can you say that hasn't already been said?
Yeah, I will say there was a lot of things that added this. So the reason it edged out Io and Rhea is just one. Obviously, it was a bit longer. Two, commercial free, obviously. But I think another thing that added to it was the story and drama of it all. Because, again, I shouted out Io and Rhea, the Raw match being, a bit of a swerve, Rhea losing the title so soon after regaining it. Io winning it on a random Monday, But this one, because of that, this match benefits from that result because after the Rumble... When did Rhea lose that champion? Was it before the Rumble? I can't remember.
Does she lose it at the Raw on Netflix, the first one?
No. Rhea beat Liv, and then I forget which Raw she loses it to Io. But everyone was going into WrestleMania in this match thought we're finally gonna get Bianca and Rhea 1-on-1, and then just throws a complete wrench in the plan. And usually when you see stuff like that, you think it's gonna throw it off. It's not gonna be that good. But no, it benefits the story, it benefits the match, and funny enough, in my notes, I have it too. I will always shout out when a triple threat actually utilizes the stipulation and utilizes the three participants instead of just one-on-one moments. It still has its one-on-one moments, but all three women get to interact. And I just love how much each woman gets to build off of one another because it's like you have Io's speed versus Bianca and Rhea's power. Rhea gets to work with two people who she can kind of up her pace with and unleash a lot of her more athletic moves, especially since Bianca's as tall as her. Bianca gets to showcase, her star power, her energy, her style by working with two other stars. And I mentioned it with Bandito and Takeshita. I'll say it here again. The best matches are when you let your biggest stars go at it because every woman in this match comes out looking even better than before. And it's three of the best this business and specifically this company have to offer, and they get to go all out. They don't have to worry about if their opponent can keep up with them. They don't have to worry about what they can and can't do. And you see amazing stuff. The Avalanche Riptide reversal, amazing. The KOD 2.9 pinfall breakup, electric. And then you get a Jeff Hardy Armageddon 08-esque pin breakup and winning pinfall moonsault from Io to close out this amazing opening match of night 2. Opening match.
Second applause break on the list.
The opening match of the night, sir.
I forgot about the moonsault, breaking up a pin, and also clinching a pin to end the match.
Yeah. It does get a slight deduction in comparison to the Jeff Hardy Armageddon one, because Bianca kind of gives it away by looking up to the corner of the sky.
I remember. The camera doesn't see her, but Bianca's looking for her.
Yeah, Bianca starts looking. I'm like, but it still makes it a great moment and a great match nonetheless.
It does. We made it, Jack. Here it is for the 6th time in the podcast history. We are each going to name our number one match for 2025, and I fear for as many as we've overlapped this list, I think this is where we diverge. I think this is where we, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, split, fork in the road, because I don't think you would name this match, because I bet you got something that fits your style and interest.
Yeah, you're going to hear mine, and that's going to be the most correct statement. But before you get into yours, now that we've had 2 matches in the same list overlap, That's the next legendary moment of this podcast is when you and I overlap with the number one.
Which, I think has come close to happening. I think you've named the number one that I named the number 2 or 3. But my number one match, it's taken almost a year for no one to top it. This is from Wrestle Dream, January 5th. It's Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega in that match where Kenny Omega comes back from diverticulitis and says, I can't do what I used to do, and then completely does what he used to do. Gabe Kidd's out there saying, I'm defending New Japan against this guy who left us for, United States, and they just put on an absolute banger because it's the only thing they're coded to do. Gabe Kidd's throwing him around and being the tough guy that he should have been in the G1, here's hoping that guy has a 2026 that he should have had this year. But he is not pulling anything. This man almost died, and he's like, I don't care, bruv. And Kenny Omega's jumping and doing that crazy, what would you call it? It's not a moonsault, but just hurling himself over the top rope to the outside, fighting on the outside, hitting all the things. It was a pretty good match. And I don't think Drew Blood did it. Did Kenny draw blood? Gabe?
Maybe Gabe might have. I don't remember if Kenny did.
Maybe Gabe did, yeah. But hard fought, all the things. It was great. I haven't seen it in a year, but I know if I watched it, I would be hanging on every move, phone put away, completely in the moment. Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega at Wrestle Dream. They're like, why do we need a Wrestle Dream if we have a Wrestle Kingdom? I'm like, listen, man, this match was worth all of the things. This match was all of the things.
As always, great pick from you, sir, for your number one. Now we get to the final number one of the year. My number one. As always, I gotta be a sicko. I gotta be pretentious. I gotta go out there for my number one. And it's a number one that I don't even remember when I watched it. I don't remember when I watched it, but it was probably back when I still had my Wrestle Universe subscription before, had to conserve money, which I have to say, Wrestle Universe, I said it last year because last year a bunch of matches from promotions that are on that streaming site ended up there, and I gave it its credit. I still got to give it credit to this day. It's only anywhere between $7 to $8 a month, I think, at most, maybe 9 or 10. I forget how much it converts from the yen to the US dollar, but they have a ton of different promotions on there. Before they shut down, DPW was on there, so it still had some American stuff. But if you're looking to get into Japanese wrestling and different promotions, whether it's the women or the men, a lot of stuff on there for value. I want to say they have almost I think it's 12 promotions or something under one streaming site, which is amazing to see. But coming up with this list, very difficult. I'm going to go more into detail when I do that year-end video, But if coming up with this list was difficult, coming up with my favorite match was even more difficult. But like any other year, I did what I always do when it comes to music, to movies, to wrestling. I let what I enjoyed the most speak, what I had the most fun watching speak. When it comes to wrestling, I look for what I look for in wrestling. And boy, does nothing get me to love a match more than a hot crowd. We head over to the land of Japan. Noah N1 victory, day one, where Yohei defends his junior heavyweight title against Hiromu Takahashi, coming over from New Japan Pro Wrestling. The Time Bomb himself finds himself in the land of Noah, and he essentially meets who I would say could be a fair comparison as his Noah counterpart. Since coming to Noah, Yohei has been a staple in the junior heavyweight division because 7 times he's won their junior heavyweight tag titles. But just like Hiromu, back with his time in New Japan, Yohei with Noah has had to scratch and claw to not only get, or he's had to scratch and claw for his first singles championship, for his first junior heavyweight title. 8 long years he waited, just like Hiromu. But obviously, since Hiromu's been wrestling longer, he's won that respective belt a couple more times. But this is Yohei's first run with the belt. And like a great champion, he's had great defenses, with one against his tag partner, too. But now it's his biggest test on one of Noah's biggest nights because it's the start of their N1 tournament. And all eyes are on this night, one of the biggest crowds they'll have. And he has a chance to go out and beat one of the best Super Juniors ever to kind of solidify this run. Both men, immense aura and swagger. It's like a match made in heaven. And the advice I'll give is don't blink or you'll miss quite a lot, because even though Hiromu's gotten older, the two men move with immense speed. And Hiromu actually catches me off guard because, like I said, he's getting older. But yet here he is in a match hitting a drop kick off the apron to the outside. And he essentially takes a back bump straight onto the floor from the apron. And I'm like, you're getting up there. Junior heavyweights can't afford to take bumps like that if with the style you wrestle. But that doesn't surprise me for the time bomb. These two men, they start flying around the ring. They start giving stiff strikes and kicks to one another. And the best part, like I said, is that the crowd is eating everything up. You got loud cheers for both men. But as I mentioned last year when one of Yohei's matches ended up on the list, my favorite part with his matches is that there's always a majority, or at least a vocal majority, of women in the crowd shrieking in excitement and horror at everything he does or that happens to him. And so the last bits of this match see Yohei fighting with everything in his system. Some of the cleanest drop kicks and kicks that you'll see. But nothing's putting Hiromu down as you'd expect from the veteran junior. But what is unexpected is the uneasiness you start getting from him. Almost like he's finding himself outside of his comfort zone here in the land of Noah. And so towards the end, he's getting more and more desperate. He's like jumping out of pinfalls. He's trying to catch Yohei in roll-up attempts. All seems lost. Yohei's getting that crowd behind him, and he's going to go for one final drop kick, and it'll be like a passing of the torch moment. Except Hiromu, being the veteran that he is, counters the drop kick into a time bomb and gets the victory. Yohei gives it his all, but falls to the modern master of junior heavyweight division. Hiromu adds yet another title to his legacy in a different Japanese promotion, while Yohei looks to get better and redeem himself in his home promotion for letting an outsider capture their title. Fast-paced, story-driven, and a crowd of a lifetime. Nothing more I could ask for from wrestling. That is my number one.
That sounds like a pretty solid number one, sir. When you said Yohei, when we're in Noah on Wrestle Universe, I'm like, God, Jack really is going out there like with the pretentious kick, right? You said, and like I think I caught a glimpse of it when you said our boy Hiromu made a trip to Noah. I'm like, this is number one. This is solid number one territory for sure.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't remember when it happened, but I just remember watching it. And the funny part is, I think I was on the treadmill while watching it, so I was focused. You know, that's the one thing I can admit this year is I wasn't as focused on wrestling. Like, I would find myself on my phone or doing stuff in the background. But I hopped on the treadmill to watch this match so that I could just focus on the TV while watching it, and it was a good one. And like I said, the crowd, that's one thing I've started to love, you know, when I was watching more consistently about the Noah crowd, is that they may be smaller now, like they're not at their peak, and there's not a whole lot of wrestlers that I know and like get interested in their stories of. But like I said, the crowds are into it, and especially with Yohei, it sounds like such a minor thing, but I'm telling you, it's funny to watch his matches and hear just the vocal, almost, I want to say it's a vocal minority of women in that crowd cheering him on and then shrieking when something happens to him. Every strike he takes, every kick he takes, every big move.
Not his face, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like they are shrieking in horror at the things that are happening to this man, and it's like, it makes it so much better.
And like, what could possibly happen to his face? Yohei is this tiny little dude.
Oh man, but that closes out our year, sir.
Woohoo!
Honestly, for a year of wrestling that saw the interest at a low, this has got to be one of the funnest lists we've done in our 6 year, or well, technically 5 years, but 6 lists. You know, because counting each year, so I guess technically 6 years, just because of the fact that you and I lined up 2 picks on the same list.
Heck yes. Across 2 different companies. Heck yes. We said there was top 5 good exactly in the same way for the same reasons.
Oh man. But that closes out the year of wrestling with the Call It Anything podcast. As Mr. Solis always says, ever since its inception, unless something happens at World's End, it'll be quite some time till you see us. It'll be Rumble. Which,
I mean,
is this the year?
You don't want to recap Breaker versus Punk on the first Raw of the new year? You mean you don't want to talk about NXT New Year's Eve, Jack? Thea Hale just stole the North American Championship.
Oh. You know what? We might record an episode for that first Raw just so if Breaker wins the title, we can get an unedited, live and unseen rant from Mr. Solis about it.
My neck is already hurting just thinking about. I hate how close he is to this thing. Like I saw a title, Jack. He's like they're talking about him winning the Rumble. I'm like, stop talking about him at all. Like he doesn't get the biggest reaction in the Vision. Logan does. He isn't the best anything in that group. Bronson Reed is. You know what I mean? Like, What did he say? What did he say in that promo? He said yippity doo, or it was like. How did this guy not get succotash by that? Well, la-dee-da. That's what he said, Jack. La-dee-da. What part of that promo is going to be on his shirt? Which one part of that promo that didn't crack 1 million views on YouTube, because I'm petty, Jack, and I looked, which one are you going to replay in 10 years? Nah, man. Nah, he ain't Brock Lesnar. He's Michael McGillicuddy.
Oh, man. I was going to say, I think, is this the year that Rumble's in Saudi?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So whoever wins it, it's like tarnished.
Oh, man. And then with the new year comes a fresh start for the predictions.
Woo! Taking you boys down.
My dad was saying we should do 2 separate predictions. What we want to happen and what we think the WWE is going to do.
For matches, for cards that have like 4 matches, I think it's worth putting a few prop bets up. Like for the Rumble, you know, if it's going to have 4 matches, frustratingly. So you think like, we'll pick our winners and maybe pick like the last guy out. Who are they going to throw out to win?
That could be a good one.
You know, and I might propose we do that just to give me more opportunities to beat you guys.
Oh man, yeah,
Did you see who the masked man is?
Austin Theory.
I was like, Daniel Garcia, what are you doing here? I was looking at the comments, like I wanted somebody to make that joke, but not enough people watch AEW to make that joke. But Jack, when I say that I went to Braun Breaker's promo video to see how it did, and like the first one was 700,000. The next one was like 300,000. I was like, yes, the world is healing. Like, when I say, Jack, that I look at those numbers, the Masked Man attacked Rey Mysterio cleared 1 million views. They don't even reveal who it is. The fact that he ran in, helped Logan, stomped Rey, that video, Jack, got 1 million views. People watch what they want to watch, and they don't want to watch Braun Breaker try. Like, I don't get it. Like, they don't like him. They don't bark because they like him. They like to bark. We're stupid, and we like to make sounds. That's not him. He's not him.
Oh, man. By the way, my mom and dad were both cracking up when they were listening to the episode, and my dad said he was laughing when he heard your reaction to getting last place. I told him, I was like, if only you could have seen the visuals for it, because it was like we were both waiting in anticipation, and then I was like, Mr. Solis, and you were like, Last place.
I think in hindsight, I was grateful that I cleared 40, right? Like, we all were in the 40s. I'm glad I wasn't left in the dust. But sure, no. We can still go for that recount, though.
Oh, man. But any final words for not only the Call It Anything podcast, sir, but for the year of 2025?
A student asked me a really great question. She's funny, and she asked, Mr. Sleaze, what are you leaving behind in 2025? I'm like, that's so fun. Like, what are we going to leave behind? And I think I'm going to pack up my cynicism, my high standards. I'm going to take my, insatiable demand for the highest quality wrestling that could possibly be made, and I'm going to bring it with me to 2026. I don't know what I'm leaving behind, but I'm bringing all these things with me.
That's good to hear. On a more negative note for me, I'm leaving wrestling behind in 2025.
Yay!
I'm leaving with John Cena.
Oh, wow!
And unlike Cena, I'm leaving the jorts in the ring. I've had enough.
Side Jack, did you see the side-by-side of Punk and Cody putting their belts on John Cena? Just like Cena and Batista did to Hogan in 2003.
Yeah, my brother was telling me about it, and he was like, that doesn't make sense. Punk's from the same time that Cena is, and Rhodes is like the generation after technically, but like, they're
like, it doesn't exactly track, but like, when you think of like just the direct comparison of Hogan to Cena, it's very scary how accurate it is.
Yeah.
Look back at that 2003 Hogan run, the like comeback run after WrestleMania 18. That dude was like 48. You're like, golly. Like, he was not old.
Yeah, oh man. I will say this though, to kind of build on that, and it's something I'll probably talk about in both your end videos, but I'll say it here for the Call It Anything audience. In 2025, I am hoping to truly commit to my word here. I'm hoping to leave behind procrastinating and wasted time. Because if there was anything that happened a lot this year, it was wasted time. Time that could have been used to watch more wrestling, to listen to more albums, to do more things rather than just believing I didn't have the time for it, But at the same time, I don't want to fall victim to the great need of needing to do so much with so little time, Sometimes you don't get to every match, you don't get to every album, but that's why we should enjoy what we do end up getting to even more.
Well put, sir. And I'm going to join you. There's a lot that I put off that I'm going to try to put off less. And I heard somebody on Instagram put it in a very interesting way. Don't say you're going to do something because you have to do something. Commit to doing it because you want to do it. Which means not just I want to listen to that album, but I want to do those dishes. I want to do dishes because when I do those dishes, I'm going to feel really good for them being done.
But with that all being said, thank you all for another year of the Call It Anything podcast. Always a joy to record with you, Mr. Solis. Always a joy to end the year off right, talking about the best of wrestling because it ends it on a positive note. Doesn't matter how lackluster the year may be, how disinterested we might have been, we're still able to look back and find 10 matches that made us say, this is why we're still in this. This is why we can never quit. We are the Undertakers of wrestling. We will never quit.
No, Jack, I'm the Cena. Smile on my face. Tap, 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 tap.
Oh, man. But with that all being said, thank you all for joining. I've been Jack, joined by my guest,
Mr. Solis.
Thank you all for joining in the next one. Or thank you all for joining in the next one. Thank you all for joining for this one. And we'll catch y'all in the next one in the big 2026.